the most...
Good afternoon, you all.
Look at this. Faith-based heritage.
Good afternoon, you all. Hello to all my many friends, hustle to my many enemies. This is Roosevelt. Roosevelt sounds off. And today, this is my first live event that I'm doing on YouTube Live. And today we're coming live from the Federal Plaza in downtown Chicago, Illinois, where we are protesting the end to the Donald Trump presidency. So you all look at what's happening. The meeting is just starting.
Of humanity, we refuse a fascist America.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this phrase in Arabic, in Persian, which is Farsi or Dari, and in Urdu or Hindi. So first in Farsi. Baname insaniyat ma hich waqt Amerikai fascisti ra qabul nami kunem. And then I'm going to say in Arabic, no, you cannot say that. باسم الإنسانية نحن نفرض نظام السياسية الفاشية في أمريكا. And then I'm going to say in Urdu or Hindi, हम इंसानियत के नाम पर फिस्ताई अमेरिका का कबूल करने से इनकार करते हैं. All these things, what I said in the beginning, in the name of humanity, we refuse a fascist America. This nightmare must end. The Trump-Pence regime must go. We see the Latinos, the disabled and elderly. Right now, people all over the world face military aggressions, bombs, and even the threat of nuclear war. This craziness must stop. Trump-Pence regime must go. All of us must stand up. This is a time when everyone has to decide what future they will stand for and will fight for. Many in my communities are fearful. We have to overcome our fear because the future of humanity rests on us to do something great. Stop this catastrophe. In the name of humanity, we must go into the streets and stay in the streets until Trump-Pence regime is gone. The determined struggle of millions of people like us, acting together with courage and conviction, can drive this regime from power. Believe me. As Trump said, believe me. Today, we begin a process of continuing protests demanding this whole illegitimate regime be ousted from power. We will reach out to all sections of people, spreading everywhere, growing week by week, month by month, with protests increasing in size and determination. Our actions today, brothers and sisters, across the country reflect the values and respect
Good
for
afternoon to
all
y'all three who's
humanity.
watching.
I'm sorry. All humanity and the world we want, in stark contrast to the hate and the bigotry of the Trump-Pence regime. So I'm going to say a pledge. I want you to repeat after me. In the name of humanity, we refuse a fascist America. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Salman. I think he hit all the points right there. That's what we're talking about. It's not just an attack on one group. We can't be consumed and stuck in identity politics. Now is not the time for that. We got to come together. If the other side can unite someone like Donald Trump and these decadent capitalist, snort-coking party boys with Christian theocrats and fascists and Nazis and Proud Boys and alt-right freaks and all this stuff, if they can unite and get in power and start to consolidate their power, we, the people who far outnumber them by the millions, can certainly get together and stomp them out. And that's what we need to do. Here's a veteran of the anti-war movement, somebody who's been around and fighting for justice and peace for many, many years. Not that long, because you can see how young he is still. But Father Bob Bossy. How about a hand for Father Bob?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. It's a nice day, isn't it? It's a little warm. I came out simply to be present with you because I'm very much interested in dumping Trump. So what did you come out for? Did you come out to dump Trump?
Dump Trump!
So maybe I thought I was in the wrong spot. You know, it's not a light thing that I'm saying that for. I really don't have a lot of hostility towards Trump, though I can understand why people do feel that way. My biggest problem is that the policies that he and his administration are enacting, that are killing and destroying people every day, and that are killing and destroying our planet. Did you see the Tribune this morning? Yeah. Did you see what it said about global warming and global climate change? That it's even worse than they thought, and it just came out. Did you see this morning's Tribune that talked about the USA Liberty Act, where they're giving more rein to the institutional powers to spy on everybody anytime they want without any kind of a warrant? That's in the paper today. That's just what we're hearing about. But every day, if you watch the news, you see them focusing on Trump's latest tweet or another thing about Russia or whatever the case might be. But meanwhile, in the background, there's policy after policy after policy being instituted and changed to destroy you, to destroy your brothers and sisters and your children. And going after one or another policy, going after one or another issue, which I have done for the last 40 years, is not enough anymore, sisters and brothers. It's time to change this filthy, rotten system, as Dorothy Day has said to us. And I don't say that lightly. I say that because it seems to be the only thing that will make a difference in our world. This, for me, is not God's world. The God that I give my allegiance to, that I live my life for, does not want this kind of a world. And I intend to do what I can to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Bob. I mean, it's a little rain. Think about that little girl who was just removed from the intensive care unit, 10-year-old girl with cerebral palsy, removed from the emergency intensive care unit of the hospital by ICE agents so they can arrest her, lying in her hospital bed. Think of the terror they're inflicting on that child. Think of the child, the 5-year-old boy they locked up in an airport and handcuffed him to a bench during the Muslim ban. Think of the terror. Think of the girl, the young girl, where they ripped her father out of the car, driving her to school in Colorado, and arrested him and deported him. This is the kind of thing that happened, yes, in Nazi Germany in 1933. And the problem is that a lot of people are comparing Nazi Germany in 1944 or 1940 to Donald Trump in 2017, and you can't. It didn't start out with gas chambers and concentration camps and trains. It started out with harassment and scapegoating and vilifying and calling Jews vermin, just like Trump is doing to Mexicans and Puerto Ricans without saying it, by allowing genocidal conditions. This is murder. Whether it's genocide slow or fast, we're going to have a say in that. And we're going to prevent what's been a slow genocide in the black communities for many decades now from ramping up into a fast genocide, and that's going to take everybody. White people, black people, Latino people, Asian people, everybody. Our next speaker is going to be Reginald Sawyer from Two Spirits, Chicago, Indigenous LGBTQ representative. Thank you. How about it for Reginald?
Jalito! Hello, brothers and sisters. I greet you in my tribal language. It means hello, and when I say halito, you say halito. Halito. Now, in my Cherokee tribal language, hello is OCO. So we say OCO. OCO? All right. Excellent, excellent. I'm Reginald Sawyer. I am the president of the Chicago Two-Spirit Society. We are an organization of Two-Spirit, LGBT, indigenous brothers and sisters that formed at the American Indian Center on August 31st, 2015. And our goal is to not only fight for our own humanity, but also be support to those LGBT brothers and sisters that from our indigenous communities that are still in the closet. Right now, we have a brother right now that is in the closet right now because he's been beaten up on his reservation. But I also want to point out to you. First of all, I need to ask you all: is everybody's phones working? Yeah, okay, well, I don't know if you've been told or not, but there was supposed to be an electronic post that the military, the military was supposed to start up today, and it was supposed to be surrounding the whole continent. Yeah, okay, well, apparently when Trump found out about today's worldwide protests in 22 cities, well, I guess it wasn't happening, so, oh well, too bad for him. First of all, I will make one clear. He is not my president.
Amen. Yes.
In my eyes, he is the demon in the White House that has no business being there. Now this morning, actually yesterday, he really showed his ass when he said that it's all about that the only thing that's important is him. He don't care about he let them know he don't care about nobody. But he also declared that he's going to do martial law in all 5 cities. Excuse me, Trumpy boy. This revolution is in 22 cities. Did you not get the memo?
You're sitting down.
But I will tell you, this man and his regime, Trump and Pence, are demons. They have no business being in the White House. They are illegitimate. They don't give a damn about nobody. They don't give a damn about us indigenous people, us LGBT people. They don't give a damn about Latinos, Mexicans, what have you. And the sad part about it is their damn supporters are so stuck on super, including, and these people are supposed to be God's children. The evangelist, Jim Baker, yes, he's going around, him and his crew are going around declaring a war, a Christian war on everybody if we impeach him. Oh, here's what I got to say about that. What you gonna do, Jim Baker? You really asked for a can of whoop ass on your ass. But it's not happening. Because in their eyes, Trump can do no wrong. He can do no wrong, they don't care, they will fight. They will fight to protect him. But they will not get off their ass and send money or donations to those brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, in Texas, in Florida, and any other victims that are suffering right now, even in Vegas. So what the hell is it? So what the hell is he gonna do? FEMA's not even doing shit either. So they say. But we know that's a bunch of bullshit. Don't believe the lies, don't believe the hype. We all have to remember that today we're here to show Trumpy boy, Pissy boy, and all his administration that we the people have the power, not him. So in closing, keep this fight going, stand together, we're all in it together, and also I want to give a shout out, Yanasha Long Wolf will be speaking at the Chicago Public Library South Shore Branch, 205 East 73rd Street tomorrow from 1:30 to 3. Be there to support her, and she will tell her story. All my relations.
Thank you, Reginald. We're going to try to keep things moving for everybody. Again, we know it's cold and rainy, but we had that pep talk already. Next up, can we see how many students are here today? representing. We know that no resistance movement of any value is really going to come to fruition without students being in the front. The bottom line is here today, because of the weather, because of different circumstances, maybe fear held people back. But the thing is, if they allow you to be scared and stay home this time, where is their direction headed? They're on a rampage. We have to draw a line. That's why I like what Eminem did. He drew a line, said, no, if you're on that side, you're not with me. That's what we need to do, and we need the youth to be in front. Every single person here has to leave today and become 10 people. We've been saying that for a year. We are not paid by George Soros, actually, believe it or not. We are out here because we're human beings, and we care about the planet, and we care about humanity. And if you're a Democrat, if you're a socialist, if you're a Republican, or whatever you are, Refuse Fascism is not one ideology. We have a mission, we have a line, and you should read that. Go to refusefascism.org, check out the literature, and unite all who can be united. We can't have this sectarianism. We have to build this from here. Here's Christina, who's been a brave warrior coming out since the Trump administration came to power from Lane Tech High School, and she's got something to tell you.
All right. So I'm a high school student, and I don't really have much life experience. I was too young to remember 9/11, for example. I have never lived in a world where people could smoke on airplanes or one without internet. I have not lived through much, but I have always loved history and politics. And so, as young and inexperienced as I am, I know that the Trump-Pence regime is not normal. I have studied the formation of fascist Italy and Nazi Germany. I know the signs. They come from 45's Muslim ban 3.0. They come from his jokes about police brutality. They come from his refusal to denounce murdering thugs who ran down peaceful protesters in Charlottesville and elsewhere. They come from his pardon of Joe Arpaio. They come from his ad hominem attacks and calls to fire Colin Kaepernick for daring to peacefully protest while black. They come from the way he discredits media that criticizes him and actively seeks to undermine truth. This regime is fascist. This president shows blatant disregard for our Constitution. If we do not act, he will continue to shred our civil liberties. He and everyone he has appointed in the White House must go. Not a particularly intimidating person. I'm a skinny 5'3" white girl. My parents aren't rich, but they aren't poor, and they are educated. This regime still would rather me dead since I'm a lesbian, but I know if things got really bad here, my family has the reasonable means to flee this country to Canada or Western Europe. I do not risk being deported every time I leave my house, or being shot by the police for getting a speeding ticket. I am not here for myself, because if I was, I wouldn't be here at all. If I kept my mouth shut, I would be reasonably safe. But I cannot and will not. I am here because I can do something. I can be there for my best friend who is trans and has severe anxiety and depression and was terrified to leave his house after the election. It is unconscionable to not try to act when faced with evil this great. I am here because I must, and I urge everyone else who can do so to do the same. No person is too small or too young or too insignificant to stand up for what is right. Thank you.
How about it, Christina? Listen, be like Christina. Remember what Heather Heyer's mom said. She said, I raised her to be strong and independent and act on her convictions, on what she thought was right and what was wrong. What good is teaching your kid these values, these morals, if you don't use them when it's time to use them? This is from a mother who lost her daughter, who was run over by a Nazi standing in the street protesting Nazis. That's what we're facing today. We're not making this up. This is reality. And it's a brave sister like Christina to stand up and admit and talk about her privilege. We need more white people to understand that in order for people to become closer in a tighter community. Now, we said we're in 22 different cities today, but I wanted to make sure that Chicago was the funkiest because, look, we're the home from Curtis Mayfield to Donny Hathaway to Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington, Sam Cooke. So I wanted to get a little chant. We'll get it going here a little bit. This first one, you only have one part to do it. It's, can you play the line? All you have to do, you know, some people say they've got to go or they must go, but for the song, we're going to turn it into gots to go. They gots to go. Trump and Pence. So you guys go. Gots to go. Gots to go. Some of them go like Trump and Pence. Gots to go. Everybody, come on. Talking about Donald Trump. Talking about Mike Pence. Talking about Stephen Miller. We're talking about Jared Kushner. And what about Ivanka? Talking about Jeffrey Sessions. Talking about Steve Mnuchin. What about Scott Pruitt? What about Mad Dog Mattis? Talking about Betsy DeVos. Trump and Pence. The whole regime. Trump and Pence. The whole regime. Got to go. What about Ryan Zinke? What about Gary Cohn? Wilbur Ross? Rick Perry? And what about Elaine Chao? Rex Tillerson? Sonny Perdue? Ben Carson? General Kelly? Chris Kobach? And even Melania has got to go. Good job. Nick, so we already won the battle. Forget Seattle, forget Boston, forget Akron. Chicago's the funkiest. Ed Ward is next. Thank you, Ed, for being patient through the musical interlude.
I'm here because as one of my esteemed people in history have once said, it is time to do what must be done. Those are the words of St. Vincent de Paul. Even though the University of DePaul continues to flirt with racists, even though the University of DePaul continues to flirt with sexists, homophobes, we must do what must be done. The Trump regime must go. We live in a system that calls itself a democracy. But how can we possibly call ourselves a democracy when the very institution of people voted against this man and this racist and this regime, and at the same time, because the electoral colleges have voted him in, we acquiesced? Trump must go. Pence must go. There continues to be a violation of humanitarian rights, and there needs to be a humanitarian intervention across the international scale. When you kill black brothers and sisters in the street, it is a human rights violation. When you destroy the families of our Latino brothers and sisters, it is a human rights violation. When you destroy the lives of the LGBTQ community, it is a human rights violation. When you continue to invoke intellectual genocide in African American and Latino communities once and again, it is a human rights violation. So how many acts of human rights violation must happen before we get this regime out of this country and out of this world? Dr. King says it best. The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in the time of spiritual and moral crisis maintain their neutrality. Now is the time to do what must be done. What side of history will you be on? They threaten war if Trump is impeached. Well, here's a news flash. War has already begun. You've already waged war against the people deemed the most vulnerable. And we are standing up. We are fighting back. We are not apologizing. We will do what must be done. We are not afraid. We speak all the way to the White House. We serve notice to every politician, Republican, Democrat, Independent, or Green, that now is the time to do what must be done. Now is the time to uproot this system. Now is the time to get rid of a constitution that prides itself on slavery. That prides itself on slavery. One of the biggest deceptions is the 13th Amendment, which justifies slavery through criminality. And look at the prison systems where they continue to lock up our black brothers and sisters, where they continue to criminalize our communities and then justify our executions. So we talk about law and order. With all due respect, I can tell you what you can do with your law and order. We can tell you where you can take your law and order. Because far too long, our people have been dying in the streets. Far too long, our families have been ripped apart. Far too long, resources have been snatched from our communities. We've been forced into poverty, and then you blame us for being poor. Now is the time to do what must be done. In the words of St. Vincent de Paul, Dr. King says that if the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not the one who commits the sin, but the one who causes the darkness. It is this institution and this system of racism that has caused a darkness so vast that sins continue to go out across the world. So let's point out the darkness creators. Drive out the darkness creators so that we can live in a world where we can embrace our brothers and sisters across racial lines, across the lines of gender, which is actually a social construct, across all of the different types of lines, across the lines of diversity, where we can actually embrace our brothers and sisters unapologetically. The Trump regime must go.
Thank you, Minister Ed Ward. Every word. Next up, we're gonna do everyone's favorite part in the middle here. And again, some people think I have the Refuse Fascism private jet sitting over here on the lake, ready to fly to George Soros's underground orb beneath Hungary to collect my paycheck, but that's not happening. We've been busting our asses for every penny, every nickel, every dime. These signs don't print themselves. The page 5 advertisement in the New York Times was not paid for by George Soros. It was paid for by our brothers and sisters pounding the pavement and working their asses off to try to get people to contribute. And if people have money, we know that there's one thing that they can do if they can't get out here and stand in the rain, and that's they can sustain the movement. And I also want to introduce Boydie from the Revolution Club. There's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of hysteria about Antifa. And we know that the fascists are trying to rebrand that name and turning it into something. They're calling us Antifa. Well, you know what? Antifa is short for anti-fascist. And if you're not anti-fascist, then you are a fascist. So in that sense, we're all Antifa. Listen, I used to cover my face at protest rallies. There's surveillance cameras everywhere. This is a police state. People have many reasons for covering their faces. That's not the point. You're letting them, the other side, turn the debate into something that it shouldn't be. We need to unite together. If you see the Rev Club, if you see members of the Revolutionary Communist Party passing out their literature, engage with them. Find out what the political line is. What are they saying? And then what are their actions? Do their actions meet what their mission and what they're saying? And judge it on that. And if you disagree, you disagree. But don't believe this bullshit and this slanders, especially from the left. And people on the left should be ashamed of themselves for dividing communists and socialists. If you have any idea or any knowledge of what happened in history in Nazi Germany, you know that we have to learn this lesson. The Democrats are not speaking about fascism. We're uniting with Democrats who are frustrated at their leadership. We need to bring more of those people from Indivisible. We're not making a revolution. We're driving out a fascist regime so that someday some of us that hope to make that revolution can continue working towards that. Here's Boydie from the Revolution Club. Give it up.
Yo! I'm so happy to see all of you. And you know, you should look to your left and right and smile at your brothers and sisters to the side of you, because they're in the right place today. All across this country. We're being a part of the thousands that will build up the millions to drive this fascist out. Now we're gonna call on people real quick. We're gonna do a real quick survey. All right. Now, how many of you guys heard about this through a billboard, a leaflet on the train, or a sticker? Okay, okay. All right, now how many of you guys heard it from a friend or a coworker, a classmate at school, and came out? All right. Now how many of you guys saw the ad in the New York Times? How many of you went to the website? How many of you heard something in the air about there were people standing up against Trump? Hell yeah. All right. Now to get this word out like we need it, we need something. Let's just be real. We need money to get this everywhere. So we got all these people around the crowd with buckets. And I want you to donate generously, because we need this in every nook and cranny of this country. We need cities like Chicago rising up. We need cities like, in Houston, where they're emboldened to rise up. We need people in, the suburbs of, Alabama rising up, and being a part of this movement. But we gotta reach them. And we gotta send this message far and wide so that people can stand up and know that there are people that have their back and are just about getting out this fascist regime as much as we are. So donate, be a part of it, and let's kick this off like none other. November 4th, it begins!
Right. We're going to keep it rolling. Our next speaker as well, like Salman, has been with us from the beginning. When we put a call out there in December and said we're forming this organization, we had a press conference right here. There was about 6 of us, a couple people standing there watching, and a lot has happened since then, as we all know. And Brother Reverend Greg Greer has been with us that whole time. And right now we're going to welcome him up to the stage to address you. Greg Greer. He's president of Freedom First International, among other things.
Everybody, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's not only afternoon in Chicago, but it is afternoon in America. It's not morning anymore. It's not sunrise. And I tell you, the sun is dark here in the sky. It's for a reason, because there is a dark sky and a dark cloud looming over America. And we know why. Am I right?
Yes!
Today, I am here with Refuse Fascism and all of the coalition partners who are here to say one simple message. The Trump-Pence regime, I was going to say machine, it's not a machine, but it's a regime, must go. One more time, the Trump-Pence regime must go. As we are here and we are seeing the militarization of America in our communities, the poor communities around, not just around America, but around the country and the world, we are seeing rights, human rights that are being assimilated and dismissed in mass numbers every day. We have to watch the sign of the times, because we are saying, we have to stand up and say, and even though it's small numbers of us, if they see leadership and people who are on the fence, they see our leadership, then what they will do is they will follow. So we have to keep standing up. As we enter into a new world and a new day and age, there has to be a change. Too much much, too many lives lost. And I'll give my life for this cause, and I will die for this cause. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Yes!
Let me hear you. Are you with me?
Yes!
Today has to be a change in America. We have to say very loudly and clearly that neocons must go. Power to the people is a serious concept. Power to the people. We have to place the power back into the people. We can't run down to DC anymore because DC is a myth that never existed. We can't run to the State House because the State House is not a reality. You can go get some benefits. You might be able to save your electric bill for a month, but then the next month it's going to be cut off if you're waiting on them. We have to stand up finally and say that even if this change is the coming of the next American Revolution, let it come. Let it come. Let it come. We have to say that today, the few of us, the hundreds and thousands that are standing around the country, we have to say very clearly, loudly and strongly that we are tired of oppression. We are tired of tyranny. Trump, Pence represent a small segment of what the reality that's out there. And around the world, there has to be a change. So as we enter into this new phase and we're fighting against a phenomenon called the New World Order, we have to let them know very loudly, clearly, and strongly that what you are calling America is a myth, and we will change it. We will stand against oppression, and we will stomp out tyranny. And again, I say it, too much has happened. Too many lives has been lost. I'll give my life for this cause, and I will die for this cause. The Trump-Pence regime must go. 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 Stand with me. Are you with me?
That's right. This is not just a struggle that we're facing here in the United States. We got to be realistic. Whether we're awakened to the struggle or not, it's already happening. It's happening in Turkey. It's happening in Poland. It's happening in Hungary. It's happening in Austria. It's been nearly defeated, barely, in France and other places. That's why we need to look to the 1930s and understand history and what this means. Where does this lead to? And we need to start looking at ourselves as internationalists. We need to start identifying as with humanity and not as Americans. Okay, it's okay if you love your country, you love the people of your country, but it's not America first. America first is destroying the planet. Humanity first. That's what we're talking about with refuse fascism. Humanity first. We all breathe the same air. We're all going to have to drink the same water. These people are delusional from years of having so much money and building fences and walls around everything and gated communities and keeping everybody out. And that leads to this misguided thinking about science and turning everything upside down because their ideas don't make sense. They don't make sense because they fucking don't make sense. Right? 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is not 5. Hitler knew that. He knew that he said the people are thirsting for 2 plus 2 to equal 5. We'll make it so. Well, fuck you, Donald Trump. We're not buying it. Next up, we have a great Chicago musician. No, I'm sorry, we don't. We have a great freedom fighter. I don't know if he's a musician. And he's been out in the streets all summer long with the Rev Club in Chicago, trying to organize the black youth in the community to say, stop murdering each other, stop turning the guns and the weapons on each other, on your brothers and sisters. Oppressed people need to stop killing one another and understand where is this suppression stemming from. So I'm going to bring up Brother Noche Diaz from the Revolution Club.
First of all, just so there's no confusion, I am not a musician. But when Trump and Pence go, I will sing and dance like never before. Today, we begin. Today we begin. Today we begin. Today we begin. Today we begin. You are all in the right place today. I don't care how much rain comes down, no amount of rain can wash away clean the blood and the tears that will flow if we do not make Trump and Pence go. There is nothing that can excuse or absolve us of the crime of silence and complicity. And we are here today to say to the world that in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. Now, I am a supporter of the Revolutionary Communist Party. I'm a member of the Revolution Club.
So am I.
And we came here today to express our solidarity with every person and every group that has come out to say that this nightmare must end. Solidarity with every person and every group that has come to stand up against the crimes of this regime, and more than that, to demand that this fascist regime be driven out of office. And we're going to be here, and we're going to be with you, okay, in the days to come, working side by side with people here and the thousands across the country who begin today to grow into the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, and then the millions to do just that, to make Trump and Pence go. And while I'm here, I want to also urge everyone, if you want to find out really where we're coming from and what this all means, go to our website, revcom.us. I want to encourage people to listen to this talk from Bob Avakian, who's the most radical revolutionary in the world today and the architect of a new communism and the leader of our party. Listen to this talk, The Trump-Pence Regime Must Go. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. A better world is possible. Because you're going to hear someone who pours his heart out and his soul into letting you know where this has come from. And you're going to hear someone who shines the light on the whole history of this country and makes you see in your mind and feel in your gut the deep roots of this ugly regime. And you're going to hear a person who gives you a living and real sense of what must be done to get rid of it. Again, you can find that at revcom.us. Get into this. And he gets deeply into all kinds of questions involved in how to make this real and how to make this happen, with a lot of humor and heart as well as seriousness. So go to revcom.us, listen to the talk and the Q&A. And finally, before I get off here, I want to thank everyone here who is taking this first big step together in bringing forward what Refuse Fascism has called this great cause, because it truly is a great cause. And let this be a cause where we stand with each other. Let's air our differences and treasure our unity as we go forward to actually drive this fascist regime out and bring a better world into being. Thank you.
Thank you, Noche Diaz. Hey everyone, we are going to march, just so everyone knows we're nearing the end of the rally portion here, so hang in there, keep moving, but we're going to get this going. We got a lot of drummers today, so this should be a good march. And speaking of now musicians, we have one of Chicago's finest jazz musicians, saxophonist, vocalist. She's been pounding the pavement. We've been working together as musicians and also now Refuse Fascism. Julie Wood is going to recite a poem that some of you may or may not be familiar with, but everybody needs to know it now. Julie Wood. All right, well, Julie's pulling up, does anyone know the Wi-Fi password at Federal Plaza? Just kidding. All right, we're gonna do a quick chant. I came up with this one. It's really easy. This half, we divide in half between Lucha and Voidy, right? This nightmare must end. Over here, this nightmare must end. And then there's a rest, okay? And then you guys go, Trump and Pence have got to go. Hold on. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare. rock that one in the march. Don't forget it.
All right, this is from Martin Niemöller. He was a German pastor imprisoned by Hitler from 1937 to 1945. And he said, first they came for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. And then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. And then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak up because I was a Protestant. And then they came for me, and by that time, there was no one left to speak up. So we all have to unite. Don't let them divide and conquer. No divide and conquer. Everyone has to come together, everyone, and we have to defeat this evil regime, because this shit has got to go.
Thank you, Julie. Our last speaker, before we pound the pavement. Oh, I'm sorry, we do have an announcement that I need to get this out there. Can everyone please, I'm sure your phone is already in your hands. So, if you want to know, and you do, because the people that are here have it burning in their heart and in their soul that this is not tolerable for the planet. We know this is the hottest year in 800,000 years of human history. We see what's happening around the planet. We know that this needs to be reversed. And he's got Rex Tillerson in Africa trying to pump it up with fossil fuels. And this is intolerable for our planet, for the humanity. So if you want to stay connected and organize, as Noche said, it begins today. Text No Trade 222. At least one person do it right now, so I don't feel like a total idiot. One person take out their phone. No, actually everybody do it. And text No Trump to 33222. Got it? And that's going to tell you what's happening. We have events every day. We got to draw more people into this. They did it in South Korea. We can do it here if we put our minds and our bodies to it. Our last speaker is from Refuse Fascism, and her name is Lena Thorne. How about a big hand for Lena?
Hello. We act now because fascism gets normalized as it gathers momentum. While group after group gets demonized, others get by and go about their daily lives. The unthinkable becomes routine, and the abnormal becomes normal. And then, it might only take a single incident, intentional or not, to drop the hammer. History has shown that fascism must be stopped before it becomes too late. For those of you who thought that letting Trump's generals running the show would bring the adults in the room, you now have a president and a chief of staff who deny the horror of slavery and the necessity of a civil war to end it. Today, November 4th, as Trump stomps around in Asia, 7 billion people hold their breath for fear of what he might unleash or put in place while he's there. All this makes painfully clear that we cannot wait, we cannot stand by, we must fight from where we are now. We must unite and struggle together to drive out this monstrous regime. Some will tell you that we cannot do this. They are wrong. This is possible. Last year, the South Korean people took to the streets, just last year, in demonstrations that took place every week at first, and then mushroomed over a few months to politically engulf the entire country and force the removal of their president. They created a crisis of legitimacy, and on that basis, all kinds of previously hidden truths began to pour out. Cracks that had existed in the ruling apparatus turned into fissures through which the truth and outrage of the people erupted. The legitimacy of the regime began to unravel. Faced with that situation, the powers that be somehow found the mechanism to remove the duly elected president, replace her, and call new elections. Some people will say the United States is not South Korea. Well, duh. But in fact, the horrific danger and horror of the Trump-Pence regime far exceeds that of the former president of South Korea. And therefore, there's far greater potential to arouse broad and determined struggle. Our objective is nothing less than creating a movement from below that forces the removal of the Trump-Pence regime. Starting today, we are calling on every person, every group to be a part of beginning a movement of protests that gather momentum, where people are out every day protesting in waves. If you don't have a stack of these yellow flyers, you need to get some. There's some at a table right over here. There's people in the crowd that have them. Take a stack. It has the schedule for the next week. We are starting with a 2-week plan to spring forward from today. We start with our march shortly, showing people in this city that there is a force now daring to demand that this regime go now, chanting, saying and signifying in every way to the people we meet to join us, join us, join us, join us, join us. Then there are plans for different protests, speak outs, outreach and rallies most every day in most cities. The schedule right now here includes 3 nationally coordinated protests. First, on the anniversary of Trump's election, this Wednesday, November 8th, there is no time to reminisce about our shock from last year. We are going to the high schools. We are joining in protests at night, and we are marching. Let's move people from the "Not My President" buttons to joining us so that this dangerous buffoon really is not president. Everywhere we go, we reach out and we bring more and more people into the streets. 5 p.m. Wednesday, November 8th, meet us at Trump Tower.
Yes!
Second, next Saturday, November 11th, on Veterans Day, at the end of Trump's Asia trip, we're going to be in the streets for protests against the unconscionable way that this madman and his generals have put all of humanity at direct risk of extermination through nuclear holocaust. Take to the streets next Saturday with us, with the lives of our sisters and brothers around the world in our hearts, letting them know that this narcissistic madman will not take the world down in our name. Next Saturday, November 11th, meet us 2 p.m. at State and Jackson. Number 3, 2 weeks from today, on November 18th, hit the streets. Let's multiply the size of today's march. More cities, more people, more organizations, all saying together, this nightmare must end! This nightmare must end! This nightmare must end! The Trump-Pence regime must go! All week long, we are meeting at State and Jackson at 4 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m., State and Jackson. But most important, what each of us must do is to reach out and spread the word. Flyering, speaking to groups. This is new and out of the ordinary for most of you. But there is nothing ordinary about this regime. It is time for ordinary people to do something extraordinary. The people and the planet are depending on us. This nightmare must end. There is a way to do this, beginning here and beginning now, and beginning with each one of you. To make a crucial beginning in these next 2 weeks and then go on from there. Join me in pledging. In the name of humanity.
In the name of humanity.
I refuse
To
accept a fascist America.
accept a fascist America.
The Trump-Pence regime.
The Trump-Pence regime
Must go.
must go. Thank you, Lena. Real quick, everyone know, if you don't mind getting your knee a little bit wet, can we all take a knee against white supremacy before we march? Get those fists up. 1, 2, 3. Fuck Trump and Pence. All right, well, thank you. Exercise class is over. And now we do have one last special treat. These musicians, we recorded a song of David's here. It's called We the People. This is going to get people amped up to march because it's about getting tired, normalizing things. David Sherman and Steakhouse Hit.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay? I want to teach you a song, okay? I got the words to it right here. If anyone wants to hold up these signs, please do. It's called We Are the People. And the message of this song is that there's more of us than there are of them. And if we stick together, we cannot be defeated. Now, who are we? We're the people. Who are they? They're the corporate elite. And we need to remind them that it's not us against the rural working class. It's us against them. And the rural working class does not need to fear Mexicans or Muslims or blacks in America. They need to be outraged against the corporate elite who will stop at nothing to sell our democracy so they can maximize their profits. And we're not going to let them do it. Because there's more of us than there are of them. This is called We Are the People, okay? I'm going to teach you the chorus first. Can I get an A minor? 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we are not scared, we are not tired. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we're marching and we are on fire. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we are not scared, we are not tired. 1, we're marching and we are on fire. One more time. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we are not scared, we are not tired. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we're marching and we are on fire. We the people of this land have come together to take a stand against the forces of fear and greed that are threatening our democracy. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we are not scared, we are not tired. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we're marching and we are on fire. We who struggle to keep our feet while senators suckle the teat of CEOs and money friends whose generosity knows no ends. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we are not scared, we are not tired. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we're marching and we are on fire. They play the left side against the right. They play the brown folks against the white. They sell us fear, tell us to fight. We're stronger together, let's unite. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. 3, we are not scared, we are not tired. 1, we are the people. 2, we are united. and preachers, farmers, nurses, students, waitresses, and teachers, Tea Party throwers, and occupiers. We won't be fooled or ruled by liars. We are one. We are the people too. We are united. Three. We are not scared. We are not tired. One. We are the people. Two. We are united. Three. We're marching and we are on fire. One. We are the people. Two. We are united. Three. We are not scared. We are not tired. One. We are the people. Two. We are united. Three. We're marching and we are on fire.
for 2017. Thank everybody for tuning in. Good afternoon to everybody. And be sure to share this live. And as we get ready to march, we're getting ready to march this way. I believe that we're on right on around the corner of Adams and Dearborn. We're getting ready to march down Dearborn. And I will take you all with me during the duration of this march. Continue on to watch. Thank everybody for tuning in on this afternoon of November 4th. We're coming to you live from, we're here at Federal Plaza in downtown Chicago. march, you all. Y'all share this video. I got 5 viewers. Give me 10. Come on, y'all.
Something like that.
Okay, we're kind of just standing around for a minute, you all. We're about to march in a few minutes. We're just kind of standing around. I don't know like what they're deciding or what they're doing. But for all of y'all who just tuned in, we are here at the November 4th protest sponsored by Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the Revolutionary Communist Party, and other groups protesting the presidency of Donald Trump and Mike Pence. This rally is being taken place over 22 different cities in this country. We're asking for an end to this racist presidency. We're getting ready to march. We're marching to, we're leaving Federal Plaza. We're marching down Dearborn. We're marching south on Dearborn.
No fascist USA, in the name of humanity. Stop the insanity. No Trump, no Pence, no fascist USA.
We got a whole line of bike officers, Chicago bike officers. Oh, they're on the move, y'all. It's a whole line of Chicago police cars. Keep sharing this video, y'all. We are now on Jackson. We're on Jackson, walking towards State Street. Okay, we're on Jackson, walking towards State Street. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. This nightmare must end. Trump and Pence have got to go. This nightmare must end. Okay, we're now on State Street, and we're walking north on State Street towards Adams. Ho ho! Trump and Pence have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Trump and Pence have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Trump and Pence have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Trump and Pence have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Trump and Pence have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Marshall Fields. We're at the corner of State and Washington in downtown Chicago. Decorations in Marshall Fields. Y'all see some of the windows while we marching. Nice. Chicago Theater. Now that's what you call a drum line. Hello to my YouTube audience. We're at the corner of State and Lake, right near the Green Line, East Line train. Ready to cross the street. I guess we're headed towards Trip Tower. Guess we headed towards Trump Towers. Trump Towers here in Chicago, people. It's hard to see near the top because it's a very foggy day here in Chicago today. But it's right there. downtown Chicago.
Excuse me.
YouTube audience!
Monitors! We need some monitors up here! Yellow vest, move up here. We need some of you.
Say hello to my YouTube live audience!
Is this Roosevelt Slaughter?
Yep!
Oh, Roosevelt. Alright, good to see you. I can't talk now, but it's great to see you.
I'm on YouTube live!
that we cannot wait until elections in 2018 to start filling the streets, to start raising our demand. There is only a small window of opportunity when fascists come to power. History shows us that. They are clamping down, they are deconstructing the administrative state. That means they're wiping away the buffers that exist between the people and the fascists. And at the same time, they're whipping up their foot soldiers. In Nazi Germany, they called them brown shirts. But here they wear white polos and khaki pants now. And they're emboldened. They show their faces because they have their compatriot in the White House. And they have this whole regime that's whipping them up and calling the greatest African-American athletes. You know how hard it is to make the NFL? You know how hard it is to make a goddamn college team? And he's calling these people, these men, sons of bitches, referring to all African-American women and all the women of these players, the mothers, talking about grabbing pussies. No, this is intolerable. We will not normalize this. We will not accept it. General John Kelly is supposed to be the reasonable fascist who's babysitting. And we know he had quotes that said, for him, legal immigration would be from 0 to none. And he said that if there was more compromise in the Civil War, things would have worked out. Well, I just want to say, in case any media is watching, fuck you, John Kelly, you fascist. He's no reasonable man. He's full of hatred. He's gone after immigrants, Latinos, viciously. He's not going to save us. John Kelly, we are not compromising with fascists. We are not compromising with Klansmen. We are not compromising with Nazis, and we are not compromising with you. This whole regime is illegitimate because they are fascists, not because they may or may not have colluded with Russia. What if they did collude with Russia? Then it's okay? No, we have to be orientated on what is the problem with this, and it is a grave risk to humanity and the planet. We see that with the hurricanes, with the fires, and everything that's going on. These people don't believe in science, and they gotta go.
That's right, that's right.
And it's up to us. It's not up to Robert Mueller. We are going to have to do it. Everyone here has to be brave enough to speak to their family, to speak to their friends, and challenge them. Follow Eminem and draw that line. Tell them, if you support this motherfucker, I'm not talking to you. Because we're fighting over the future of humanity, nothing less here.
That's right. Yeah.
This is not hyperbole. Some people say if you compare him to Hitler, you've lost the debate. I say if you don't compare him to Hitler, you've lost the debate. My great-grandfather went back to Poland. They told him, it's getting bad. It's getting very bad in Germany. It's looking bad in Poland. They had emigrated here to escape the pogroms in Poland and the attacks. And they didn't have an easy time getting into this country. But they did, and he had some land in Poland, and he wanted to get the money. People told him, it's getting bad. You should go get it and get out. He went back, and it was too late. These Nazis that started out talking about Jews are vermin and rats, and they're the problem for everything, the same way that Donald Trump and these people are talking about immigrants and Mexicans, Muslims, LGBTQ people. The same way they're demonizing all of us, that's the way they were demonizing Jews in 1933.
That's right. Yeah. That's indigenous people being demonized as well.
So these Nazis came through my grandfather's village. They called it a shtetl, and they rounded everybody up, man, woman, and child, and they made them dig their mass grave, and then they shot them all in the backs into the grave. And there was one man that survived. So when these trolls tell me you don't even know what the word fascist means, yeah, I know what the word fascist means because they killed my great-grandfather and a number of my relatives, and it's not about me. It's about all the genocides. The African genocide, hundreds of millions in the Middle Passage, and the whole slave trade, the whole history of this, the genocides in Armenia and genocides here and there. And we're saying never again for everybody. Never again. This fascist regime must go. This is not a one and done. People have to become organizers if we're going to do this. Right. Think of the future if we don't do this. People say, well, if you get rid of Trump, then what about Pence? That's why we say Trump and Pence. because we know that this is a marriage. This is an unholy alliance that's allowing them to control and to hold on to power, but there's cracks and there's fissures. And the people need to get inside those cracks and fissures and break them apart. And we need to demand, we need to insert our demand into this debate. We need to grow to millions so they can't ignore us. Can you imagine if we shut down Chicago, New York, LA, and San Francisco for 2 days? If we have a million in each city clogging up the streets, that's a worldwide global economic crisis.
That's right.
We have that power, while we still have the First Amendment to do so. So please, I hope everyone here will come away with a more sense of strength, fearlessness, because if you're acting for righteousness, you're doing the right thing, you're fighting for humanity, there's no reason to be feared. There's no reason to be scared of these trolls and these fascists. Like Brother Greg said, this is a matter of life and death. It's just a matter that a lot of people don't want to face that fact right now. And we have to make them face that fact because we only have this window to break through. And imagine how we will feel in our millions if we do accomplish this.
That's right.
People are saying, oh, well, you think if you don't, we press a button and they're not gone, then why should we do it? No, this is a struggle. We owe it to the people of the world. The people in this country have been dormant. They've been lulled to sleep. Their attention spans have been whittled down by the system. They've been taught to dream about Hennessy and VIP and all that bullshit. Well, I've gone on a little bit too long. Sorry, guys. But,
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Keep going. Stay true. Don't worry about it.
All right. I want to get this schedule out, because let's get to some logistics. We've all been to the marches. Who's been to the Science March? Who's been to the Women's March? Who's been to the Climate March? Holocaust Remembrance Day. Yeah, that's us. Refuse Fascism. We've been to every damn march. And we support everybody who's out here doing it. And you people who are at the march today need to tell other people, we came and Refuse Fascism was cool. They led the people out when nobody's leading the people out. They're leading the people out at the time in history when it needs to be done and nobody's calling for it. So I'm going to work with them, whether I agree with everything they say or not. And I'm going to help dispel these myths and these lies about Antifa and blah, blah, blah. It's all on all of us, okay? It's not about, no one's a professional here. Everyone here is volunteering their time. We got to step up. So, with that being said, Sunday, November 5th, that would be tomorrow, 2 to 4 p.m., 2955 West Belmont. And again, this will be on, you're going around the yellow flyers. We have an organizers meeting. We need more people to step up. This is on you, brothers and sisters. You got to join us. We can do this. We need people to step up to their role in history right now. Like Mark Bray, the professor in Dartmouth, said, there are no great memoirs about the people in Nazi Germany who sat idly by while the Nazis rose to power. Nobody is praising the Weimar Republic for giving the Nazis their freedom of expression and their freedom of speech. No, it led to a world catastrophe like we've never seen before. Hitler did not have nuclear weapons. Hitler did not have a turnkey police state. Hitler didn't have the modern, most powerful military in the history of the world. Donald Trump and Mike Pence and this regime is far more dangerous, potentially dangerous, than Adolf Hitler was in 1933. And there's no reason to shy away from that argument. Now, Monday, spread the word. We're going to come to State and Jackson, 4 to 6 p.m. That's going to be a place where we can meet up. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to check in. Just show up and we will be there. Bring friends. Tell everybody you know. State and Jackson's where the DePaul... Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day 4 to 6. You got it? Where's it gonna be? What intersection? Good, class. What else?
Wednesday, here.
Wednesday, on the anniversary of this pig's election, Trump Tower right here, 5 p.m. Students, walk out, come to Trump Tower. If you can't cut class for one day, we're not going to stop fascism. You know? Everybody, we got to show up 5 p.m. That is Wednesday. Thursday, November 9th, protest the oppression of women and LGBTQ people. State in Jackson, we're not going to go forward with this Handmaid's Tale society. No. We're going to fight against patriarchy and male supremacy. We're going to break these chains too. Sunday, November 12th, organizing meeting, time and place to be announced. And then, Lena?
We are not tired, but sometimes we just need a little break. Okay. That's right. Next Saturday, 1 week from today, 2 p.m., State in Jackson, no nuclear war! No nuclear war! Who's the nuclear threat? Come on, it's Donald Trump! He wants to increase the nuclear arsenal tenfold? Give me a fucking break! That's fucking insanity! No! 2 p.m. next Saturday, State in Jackson. Then...
Humanity first, not America first.
Humanity first, not America first. Then Saturday, November 18th, 2 weeks from today, we've got to triple, quadruple, quintuple. We've got to exponentially increase the numbers of people in the streets. How is that going to happen? We don't have George Soros money, people. We don't. We have each other. Yeah. Look around. Look around.
Love is love.
Each one of us are just ordinary human beings. This is how you change history, okay? You be an ordinary human being with a conscience and you act on it. So, tell everyone you know, join us next Saturday. And then the Saturday after that, 2 p.m. at the Thompson Center. Randolph and Clark, 2 p.m., November 18th. And don't forget, you can sign up. You can get emails that will remind you. You can text No Trump to 33222 and you can get text updates. You can go to the website, refusefascism.org, which is sometimes crashing. So you need to find other avenues to stay in touch. We need to stay in touch. All of us need to stay in touch and grow this because the future depends on it.
Okay, I just want to say, if there are any LGBT brothers and sisters out here, and women, it is mandatory that you be at this protest on the Thursday, November 9th, and I make sure that I'm going to be here. Because my responsibility as president of the Chicago Two-Spirit Society is to not only to protect all of our Two-Spirit indigenous people, our LGBT indigenous Two-Spirit people, but to protect all of our people, all of our members, even our future members. So we have to come together at this on November 9th for this march to show that we not only that all of us are in this together, but we have to fight together with our allies, with our friends, with our loved ones. We have lost too many of our LGBT people this year, too many of our Native American women, too many of our LGBT Two-Spirit transgender people. We must be here for them, and we have to be here for those LGBT indigenous Two-Spirit people that are still in the closet. We need to be here for them. And the reason why I also brought up tomorrow's event, there's a sister who is a Black and Lakota Sioux Indian. Her name is Yonasha Longwolf. This is Native American Heritage Month for those who don't know. She will be speaking tomorrow at Chicago Public Library, South Shore Branch, 205 East 73rd Street from 1 to 3 p.m. From 1:30 to 3 p.m. So please come, if you can, come and support her and hear her story. She will be out there and I'll be there too. All my relations.
Thank you. All right, everyone, we're going to wrap it up. Remember, this was not a one and done. That's why I named those other marches. This is the people that understand what we need to do to move forward. And maybe you don't understand everything, but you know in your gut you got to do something. You got to join with people, and that no electoral college is going to end up endangering the entire planet. A mechanism that was set up to uphold and reinstate slavery is holding the planet hostage by these people that don't believe in science. They deny climate change. They tell you yes is no, war is peace, and they're attacking every ethnicity they can go after. I don't say minority because black people and people of color are not the minority in the world. They're the majority. White people are the minority. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Everyone, be conscious around you when you walk away. Walk away in groups. Have eyes in the back of your head and around you. Be safe. People that want to meet up afterwards and get more information and talk to some of the organizers, just hang out. We're going to be at Northbridge on the 4th floor getting coffee and talking and informally talking about how we can move forward here. Everyone cool? Give yourselves a hand for hanging through this whole thing and being here. This is so important. It's very important.
Just real quick, one more announcement I want to make to people. All right, I want to teach you a chant real quick before I make the announcement. Are you ready? Yeah. All right, the first line is, we love humanity.
We love humanity.
We love the planet.
We love the planet.
But we fucking hate Trump.
We fucking hate Trump.
We love humanity.
We love humanity.
We love the planet.
We love the planet.
But we fucking hate Trump.
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 Now, Refuse Fascism is a movement that's determined to reach everyone who is agonizing, that will and reach them about what it will take to stop the Trump-Pence regime from causing any, more suffering and the untold suffering we know that he's planning to millions around this country and around the world. When people meet with us, they're excited to hear that there's a movement that's identified the problem, fascism, and that we and our millions have the power to change history. In the next 2 weeks, we need to reach tens of thousands more who agonize every day about what to do but have no idea yet that there's a movement that they can join to end this nightmare. Think of all the ways you can be a part of making this happen. Be sure to sign up like people have stressed and contribute as much as you can today, tomorrow, and next week. Set a goal with your friends and family to raise $250, $300, $500. Think about it. It's not that hard. If everybody pitches in 20, 25, 50, 100, we can make this happen very quickly with friends and relatives. And as I've said before, money is the oxygen of this movement. We got to reach those people. The New York Times ad wasn't free, The billboards aren't free. All these beautiful stickers we got to get in the hands of thousands all around this country aren't free. And people are circulating with donation buckets. They got them around their necks with no on them. They've got bags, that you can donate to. And come on, give people with the thought about humanity around this planet and the earth. Because we depend on it, And humanity depends on what we do now. So one more time, let's say the chant. Are you ready?
Yes.
We love humanity.
We love humanity.
We love the planet.
We love the planet.
But we fucking hate Trump.
But we fucking hate Trump.
We love humanity.
We love humanity.
We love the planet.
We love the planet.
But we fucking hate Trump.
But we fucking hate Trump.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, everybody.
All right, everyone, be safe leaving here, but don't be safe moving forward. Be free and stay free and get free. It's not always going to be safe. Heather Heyer thought she was being safe. Peaceful, nonviolent protests, and these people are vicious. We got a lot of death threats for this day all over the country. telling us they were going to shoot us, they were going to run us over with their vehicles, on and on and on. We're going to show them who really has the power in this country, and that's the people that care about humanity. We are the vast majority. Let's join together. Let's get over these differences and understand what's at stake for the future of humanity. Thank you very much for coming out today. Stay connected. RefuseFascism.org. Meet us over at Northbridge. Trump and Pence gotta go.
And there you have it, everybody. Once again, this is Roosevelt. My first live remote, coming live from the Resist Trump and Pence regime. The Day of Rage, November 4th, 2017. I want to thank everybody who watched, everybody who thumbs up, and thank all of you all for watching. Thank you for hanging with me all of this time. It was fun. It was wonderful. Wonderful march today. Everybody stayed safe. Nobody got arrested. No one got in trouble. Everything was good. So hope to talk to everybody soon. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Peace and blessings to all.